Hey everyone, I'm going to share with you a little bit of information about the new math curriculum for 2020. This will be exactly what I shared in class, but I'm going to record it for anyone who may have missed it. And I'll just start right from the beginning with respect to how you find the Ontario's curriculum for math. So I usually just Google it, and I Google it so often it's right there. And you can use any combination of these words, Ontario Math Curriculum 2020. The grades are 1 to 8, and I just click on that, and it takes you straight to the Ministry of Education site. When you get there, you can see that the curriculum for mathematics is listed here, and it also includes the old version of the curriculum as well. However, we're not going to pay any attention to these two because it's for 2005. We're only concerned with 2020 because it has been government mandated that we begin using the 2020 curriculum as of September of 2020. So everyone's would be fully using this curriculum already. However, if you have some old lesson plans, or maybe you're, a teacher colleague or associate teacher, or someone that is using old lesson plans that are, of course, is adapted with this 2005 curriculum, then you might want to take a look at it to find the comparisons, find where you can make connections to that particular activity or lesson plan to the new curriculum. So keep that in mind in case you do need to use that. So I'll just click on the digital format. When you click on the digital format, there are 3 overview videos. Please look at all 3 of them. They're only about 3 minutes long, 2 to 3 minutes long for each one of them. The first one is an overview as to what the curriculum is meant for in terms of its purpose and scope for young learners. The second one looks at the overarching learning areas, particularly the strands that the math curriculum is connected to. And then the last one shows you some teaching supports. So please look at all 3 of those videos. I will not show them to you here. If you click on curriculum context, you will find information on the visions and goals, the principles of mathematics, or principles underlying the Ontario curriculum, the program, assessment information, cross-curricular. You can also pull it up by the PDF. So everything that was there in the digital can be pulled up with the PDF. So let me just go to the table of contents, and you can see it was all that information that was there, the processes, visions and goals, principles, so on. Now, this is only the information that's listed in this particular PDF document. It's the context of the curriculum. So this is not where you would go to find what are the expectations for each grade and what are the strands. So in order to do that, you would press or click on grades. So when you click on grades, you'll find the grades listed from grades 1 to 8. And of course, you could select which grade you're teaching and you can delve right into that. But let me go back to curriculum context because I just wanted to share with you very quickly some of the visions and goals of the math curriculum. Firstly, to understand the importance and appreciate the beauty of mathematics, which I think is being represented in our course as well. So even if you aren't going to become a mathematician or a math educator, you would recognize as a young learner the beauty of mathematics, how it exists all around us, and how it's connected to our everyday life. Another vision is to recognize and appreciate multiple mathematical perspectives. Again, this is modeled in our program, particularly in the problem of the day, where you are sharing in a group how to do math together, and everyone is sharing their own strategy, their own approach, their own perspective. So you start to appreciate that there are multiple ways of understanding, knowing, and executing a math solving situation in a classroom. Third is to make informed decisions and contribute fully to their own lives and to today's competitive global community. So this is in line with 21st century's competencies. And it's also recognizing that math is for a lifelong learner, particularly when we look at the more fundamental concepts and math ideas that students need to know just for their everyday. Another goal is to adapt to changes and synthesize new ideas. So how do we have that growth mindset, which was another element to this course? I think it was our week 2 or week 3 session, where we have a growth mindset, recognizing that maybe something isn't working the way we expected, but being flexible with our thoughts and our minds to say, okay, well, what other idea can I come up with? What other way can I adapt to solving this particular math or this idea? The next one is working both independently and collaboratively to creatively approach challenges. Again, we work in groups, we work independently, so that way you can see the approach in both ways, and both are equally important. Being able to communicate effectively and being able to critically and creatively see connections to other disciplines beyond math, such as STEM disciplines. And STEM stands for science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Some of the principles for the underlying math curriculum that you should read through, and I won't read through these, are listed here with respect to the math curriculum's effectiveness to celebrate diversity, its robustness, how it actually provides foundational math skills and concepts, the use of technology in the classroom, this sort of gradual and continuous learning of math as a means of scaffolding conceptual understanding over and over again, integrating it across the classroom, and of course, maintaining that lifelong learner approach for students with math. And I'll draw attention to the mathematical processes, which we have already discussed. These are the 7: problem solving, reasoning, reflecting, connecting, communicating, representing, and selecting tools and strategies. So that's all there, and there's more to read as well. But I'll go to grades. When you click on grades, for example, if you click on grade 1, that is where you will find the actual curriculum expectations. So you can go into expectations by strand overviews, and information for parents. If you go into the expectations, you will see that there's a list of overall expectations, and then you will also see a list of specific expectations. If you listen to the videos, you would know that for this particular strand, it doesn't have specific expectations, but all the others do. So these are the strands: social emotional learning, number, algebra, data, spatial sense, and financial literacy. But it's really important to recognize that this particular strand is not independent. It is actually an overarching skill set that you will draw on for each of these strands. So every single one of these strands. So it's an overarching representation. And I did include that in the PowerPoint because I wanted to show that importance. So you can see here that social emotional learning skills, which was a strand on its own, strand A, as well as the mathematical processes, are the overarching importance or overarching elements within each of the other strands. So here's strand B, C, D, E, and F. So that's really important to recognize, especially when you're in the actual document. You'll see that it just has that one overarching expectation with respect to emotional well-being and making sure that students can self-reflect, can communicate, have a good energy with respect to their math understanding and reasoning. And that, of course, is something we want to see them do when they are learning about data management or when they're learning about geometry or algebra, right? So it's overarching, it's amongst all. So once you pick a strand within your grade, of course, and you decide what area of math you're focusing on, let's say it's number sense, you'll see that overall expectation, let me just go back one. The overall expectation is listed, but when you go into the specific expectations, you can see more clearly which expectations are assigned or aligned with that. And that's how you find that. So I think I also included that in a PowerPoint, like an example. If you're doing grade 3 math, you go into the grade 3, you click on expectations by strand. If you go into a strand number, you can click further into, let's say, operations, and then you can click further into the specific expectations. So hopefully that's a good guide as to how you can navigate through this digital curriculum. Everything here is digital in terms of the grades. You will not find this in a PDF. So just keep that in mind. Like I mentioned, the PDF was only for the curriculum context. I'm just going back to that. And not for the actual grades. So keep that in mind. So this is what we're going to use, and maybe as time goes by, you'll notice that change for the other curriculum subjects as well. So that's that in a nutshell, and it's aligned with what we talked about in class. If you have any other questions, just let me know, and I will answer them. And we will review the use of this digital format Mathematics 2020 curriculum again through our modeling in the classroom, as well as exploring how we use this with our lesson plans, and how we do long-range plans as well. All right, so that's it in a nutshell, and I will post this as soon as possible.